or with firefighters, police officers, and other first responders. As chaplain to the Maine Warden Service, the agency that polices the state's roughly 17 million acres of wildland, I accompany game wardens to accidents and drownings and search and rescue operations in the Maine woods. Regardless of the circumstances, community ministry brings us into close contact with people whose socioeconomic and religious backgrounds vary widely, and who may share with us little more than birth, illness, and death, the common features of human experience. Whatever theological or doctrinal systems a chaplain begins his ministry with, the work itself has a distinctly streamlining effect. A chaplain doesn't have a leisurely hour in which to explain God. The suffering is right there, and its urgency demands an immediate response. We don't give a lot of sermons out in the field or in the woods or streets. Instead, we are called upon to offer the spiritual equivalent of triage. We're asked to pray. Arriving at the hospital's neonatal nursery, I expected to see a desperately sick little creature in an incubator. Instead, Nina was stretching and kicking her newborn legs, a lively, lovely baby girl, while a doctor in a white lab coat pressed a stethoscope to her stout little chest. In fact, despite the initially worrying signs, Nina turned out to be fine. So what on earth was that nurse thinking? To tell the mother of a newborn, "You should pray," can only be interpreted as, "Your baby is in terrible, terrible trouble." Was the nurse an insensitive religious wacko? No. She was a human being who had just made a mistake. Among the medicines Ruth had taken for her back pain was methadone. When the nurse reviewed Ruth's file after the baby seemed to have trouble breathing, she saw the drug and jumped to the wrong conclusion. She had thought that Ruth was a heroin addict who had traveled to Bangor, where there is a methadone clinic, throughout her pregnancy. This isn't really an excuse for psychological cruelty, but it is an explanation. The nurse thought she was dealing with yet another substance abuser whose bad choices were inflicting harm on her own helpless offspring. I have felt the same frustration when witnessing catastrophic parental failures in my work as a chaplain. I could leave it at that. Ruth had been the victim of misdirected and inappropriate anger. She wasn't responsible for her baby's troubles, which, in any case, had proved both mild and transient. Ruth didn't need to pray. Except that she did need to pray. The nurse's exhortations, right or wrong, had triggered an instinctive reaction. What's more, Ruth wanted to pray, but didn't know how. So I helped Ruth to pray. Here is the prayer we offered together. Hospital prayer. O God, whose name is love, I offer the prayer of my yearning heart. I can't hold or heal my child. Please hold her for me. Love moves in the skilled hands of those who would heal my baby. Love is in their learning and their care. God, be in my understanding. God, be in my patience. God, be in my arms as she is returned to me. May my child and all children be blessed. My family and all families blessed. May God's love enfold us, dwell in us, give us comfort, and grant us peace. Amen. KB. When I invented this hospital prayer, more or less on the spot for Ruth and Nina, I drew it from a well that I'd spent years digging. There was a time when I would have imagined that, having dug my well, I could also claim credit for the water. Why would it occur to Ruth to pray? And how would she know how to do it? Like Ruth's family, my family of origin